Hey guys, good evening. I hope I'm audible as well as visible to you guys. So just a quick hi or hello in the chat would be really good, guys. Hey Ali, good evening again, guys. So I'm looking for your confirmation. So just let me know if I'm audible as well as visible in the chat. Okay. So right. So we are pretty much live, guys. Okay. So we are. I'm monitoring my chat. Hey Anirudh, hello. Thank you for joining us. So I'm pretty much live here, guys. So anything, so do put up things in the chat, so we'll take that. Okay, great. So I hope I'm pretty much audible as well. So guys, warm welcome to everyone in our playlist. So that is data analysis in 3 weeks. And in this playlist, we have discussed so far the basics of Python. We discussed about list, tuples, and then we were discussing about dictionaries yesterday. So now today, as promised, I'll be doing some of the good interview coding questions. Okay, I'll give you some of the samples. So the questions which we'll be doing today, they are not very tricky, but again, at least you should be knowing the basics. And that again, the whole concept revolves around the things which we were discussing yesterday, right? So the keys, values, items, and all that. That's how we're going to be using the dictionary format. Okay. So as per today's agenda, we'll be talking about those questions, and I'll be doing the coding live in front of you, and we'll be showing you how we can approach the problem. Okay. So I'll give you 3-4 examples. So we'll be trying to solve as many questions as we can. Okay, great, guys. So, and as you know, I'm monitoring my chat, so we are pretty much live. So, any concerns, anything so far, anything regarding your list, tuples, dictionaries, any concepts, anything, guys, please utilize this time. I'm always saying that. So, any questions, do put up your things in the chat. Okay, so I'm monitoring that. So, please utilize the time and let's try to make this session an interactive one. Okay, so I'm not coming here just to tell you a few things and go away. So, it's a pretty much a live session, right? And the importance of a live session is interaction, right? So try to utilize the time and try to ask as many questions as you can. Okay, so we'll try to clear that. Cool. So before starting, quickly introducing myself. So you know, my name is Arpit Jain, and I'm lead data scientist myself. I've been into industry for almost 9 years now, into multiple domains. So I was with the bank earlier, then I was in a manufacturing sector, automobile, cloud, then in telecommunications. So multiple domain experience, and I was working as a data guy. So you can ask me any questions regarding data science or anything which is concerning your job switch, career switch. So along with that, I'm also a motivational speaker. So I take industry sessions. I talk to students regarding their career, job. So anything, any concerns if you have regarding your queries on job, data science, anything, guys. So please put up things in the chat. So I'll try to take that. Okay. Cool. So that's pretty much it about my introduction. So I'll quickly jump to the content. So just allow me a minute. Let me quickly open the content for you. So I hope my screen is pretty much visible, right? Cool, guys. Great. So as you remember, we were talking about a dictionary methods yesterday. So I'm going to give you a quick recap of what we discussed in terms of dictionary methods. And the reason why it is important, because the kind of questions we will be doing, right? So we will be talking about, we'll be using these methods, and then we'll try to solve things as it comes. Okay. So that's what the agenda is. Okay, so we have a question here from Niraj. So will you take the DSA series? So DSA is not planned as of now, Anirudh, to be honest. But again, I can take this as a feedback, and we can definitely work on that. So anything, whatever I'll be starting new, anyway, that'll be after the completion of this series. So I can definitely plan for DSA. So I'll take this as a feedback, and maybe I can plan the content accordingly likewise. Okay, so I can do that. Great, but coming back, so a quick recap. So we discuss about some built-in functionalities, built-in methods from dictionaries: clear, get, items, keys, values, pop item, update, right? So quickly, let me tell you. So clear, what it does, it clears everything from dictionary, right? So it just removes all the key value pairs, irrespective of the numbers of those key value pairs, and make the output dictionary as empty. So that's what clear does, right? Likewise, get is like another synonym function where you are accessing the keys. So depending on the key value, you are trying to get the value. I mean, depending on the key, You are trying to get the value of that key. So that's what get does. So it's more of a synonym function where you use the square bracket and write the key to access the element, right? That's the same thing get does. Cool. So get also has a very good functionality to have a optional argument to handle the error, right? So what if that particular element, what the particular key is not present, we can obviously pass a garbage element or garbage value or whatever as a error handling output. If that key is not present, we can add that in get. Okay, so that is simple. So we pass the key value here in the parenthesis and we get the value out of it. Okay. Likewise, items returns the list of tuples containing my key value pair. So all the list of tuples where the elements of keys and the values are present are actually given here. Okay, so we get all the list value tuples out of my list. So that's what my items does. So items is returning me the list of tuples containing all the key value pairs. So that's what my item does. Okay. So post items, I have the keys. So keys returns me the list of all the keys present in my dictionary. So I have, so here I have 3 key value pairs, right? So if I talk about items, items is returning me all the key value pairs, the items here. So combination of key value pairs, but keys, it is returning me only the list of keys. So what all keys I have? A, B, C. These are my 3 keys here, right? So this is what it is getting returned here. Likewise, if I run values on it, so values will be returning me 10, 20, 30, right? So all the values in my dictionary. So that's what items, keys, and values do. Okay, so returning me the individual values. Likewise, I have pop. Pop is nothing but I write the elements. I write the key here, and then it's going to return me the remove the particular key value pair from the dictionary. So I can specify the key to be removed. Likewise, I can handle the error here as well. So if that key is not present and if I don't want the error to be present, so I can also always handle it. So we can just print select not available likewise. So we can always handle the error or handle the exception out of it. Okay. So with pop item always removes the last key value pair from the dictionary. So whatever the sequence is, it keeps on removing the last key value pair. So that's what pop item does. Okay. At the last, we have update. So update is used to merge 2 dictionaries, right? So if I have 2 dictionaries, so I can keep on appending one dictionary on top of other, right? So if I have say 3 elements in D1, 2 elements in D2. So if I write D1.update D2, so I'm updating D1 with the content of D2. That's what it means, right? So I'm going to add 2 more elements D and E out of it, right? So likewise, for example, if this D2 is having another B, so although I have a B here and I have another B here. So what it does, it will update the value of B on top of whatever value I have from the first dictionary, right? So that's what is happening here. So here, although I have a B here, so B is 200. So now the output dictionary will have the key B, only one key B, where the value got updated from 20 to 200, right? And then I have C, and then also I have a new key value pair, which is D, got added here. Okay, so that's what this is what we discussed yesterday. Any questions, guys? I just wrapped it up quite quickly because our objective is to solve question today, not to stuck up with the content. So I try to wrap it up quite quickly. But any questions here, guys, please do let me know before jumping to the questions. So yeah, there should not be any concern, any doubt here. Cool. So now with this, let's move to our first question, guys, quickly. Let's move to our first question. Let me show it to you, the question. Okay. Cool. So now I have this list, which is called as my list. Okay. Look at the question quite carefully, guys. So I have this list. Okay. I have list of key value pairs for me. Okay. So list of key value pairs, right? So list of dictionaries. So I have list of dictionaries here. So what is this? This is list of dictionaries. Cool. This is list of dictionaries which I have here, right? So now each list of dictionaries is having my key value pairs here, right? So each dictionary is having 2 key value pairs: subject, mark, subject, mark, subject, mark. So subject, this is English, mark, this is 91. Likewise, I have for maths, for science, for computer. So I have subjects and marks for 4 such subjects, right? Now the question to you is, I want to access each of my marks. And for example, suppose by mistake, there was some problem in computation, and now the government is asking you, or the institution, the university is asking you to add a grace 5 marks to all of these subjects, right? So now the objective is to add plus 5, to add 5 on top of each of my marks, each of my subjects, whatever marks has been attained. So that is the objective here, so, right? So objective is to add 5 to each of my subject, and also now post that I have to print the subject and the marks in this format. So what I want to print, subjects marks. So now the output should be like English equal to 91 plus 5, so it should be 96. And then likewise maths should be equal to 85 plus 5, 90. Then science should be 85, 80 plus 5. And then likewise computers, that should be 100. So this is what my output should look like. So this is what I have to print. So I have to print the subject and the marks in this format where subject is equal to marks, and then marks is being added with a number 5 for each of my marks. So this is a question. And this is a very simple question, guys. The solution is very simple to this. I mean, it's hardly one line of the code for me, but I hope this question is pretty much clear to everyone. Is the question clear to everyone? Is the question clear to everyone? Cool. I hope people are able to understand this. Great. So let's try to approach this problem. Anybody is having any understanding, anything which you can, any format which you can think of how to approach this problem? What should we do? What should we be doing in this? Any suggestion, anything which you feel like we should be doing? Just let me know. Or I'll tell you the very basic approach. Okay. So I'll just remove all of this because anyway, this is the output which I need, right? So I'll just mark this one off. So I've run the my list. So my list is ready for me. This is the output which I need, correct? So now the thing is, see, the basic simple thing is we have to access each of the elements first to get my English and the marks, right? So if I won't access the element, I cannot do anything about it, right? So how can I access this element? So ultimately, see, look at this. So my list is a list, right? It's a list of dictionaries. So how to access each element of your list? So by default, here objective is for each of my search dictionary pairs, I have to print the subject and the marks, right? So this is what I have to do. So I have to access each element, right? So how can I do that? I can do simple for loop. So for I in my underscore list, right? Simple for loop. So if I do print I, just look at, let's just try to understand what's happening here. So if I do print I, so here this entire thing is my one element, right? Because dictionary can have multiple data types in this, right? So it can have any data type within. So here, very well said, Anirudh. So we can just simply do a for loop here, right? So by for loop, we can get an access to each of my elements. So this is my first I, this is my second I, this is my third I, correct? Cool, guys. Now to access this English or to access this mark, so if I print type of I, what I'll get dictionary here, because internally this is a dictionary, right? But outer it is a list. So now on top of this I, what can I do? I can simply write the content. So if I have to access English, for example, what can I do? I can do just print of I of subject. So this is how we access the element or access the keys of my dictionaries, right? Likewise, I can also do print for each I want marks also. Cool. I can do that. This is pretty much simple, right? So if I do this, what I'll get? I'll first get the dictionary I, and then I'll get each subject and marks. Each subject and marks. I'm getting it, right? Plain simple. No issues in this, guys. I'm trying to break this problem as much as possible, okay? I'm trying to make it very clear to you. Now, what is the objective? Look at the objective. So now what I have to do, I have to add 5 to all of my numbers, right? I can simply do, so print I of marks plus 5. I can do that. So now, okay, I did it wrong. So it should be here. So it should be here. Okay, my bad. So I have to first, I have to not print this actually. So now here print se kaam nahi chalega. I have to convert this into actually int element first. Just do it as int and then do +5 on that, and then maybe I can add a print on this. Cool. Cool. Clear? किसी को doubt है इसमें? मैंने क्या किया? So now I have to add +5 here, right? So this I of marks, I can, if I print this, so print is like an output object, right? So output object में मैं 5 add नहीं कर सकता. I have to first define the data type of it because 5 is a number, right? I have to define what data type it is. To add 5, what I did, I first accessed this element and I converted this element into int. So what I just add, I wrote int on top of this. And on this int, this is my number now. On this, I added 5 +5 and then I printed this entire thing. So now, did you see this? This is what I needed, right? This is what I need. So I have the subject here and then I have the numbers, 96, I have maths, I have 90, I have science, I have 85, I have computers, I have 1. This is what I needed, right? But ultimately, this is not the way I need it. Again, what I said, I need to print in this format, right? So I have to write the name of the subject, then equal to, then 90, right? This is what I have to do. Cool. So instead of doing it likewise, so what can I do? I can write a simple another print statement. So what I need here is print. So in this object, what I need, so I need print of first my subject, and then I want in terms of my number. So here what I want, I write it like this. So first I want my name of the subject equal to, and then another this marks. This is the format I need. This is the way I need the output to be, right? Now look at this. So we have in print statement, we can also dynamically fill the values in it, right? So for each loop, I can dynamically fill. So the format, the way to write this. So if this is the way I want it to be, right? So this curly braces means here the values will be filled every time dynamically. Okay. So for that, the operator is, we have to write dot format. Okay. So this is how we have to write it. So dot format. In this dot format function, I have to first pass this element, the first dictionary, the first curly braces element, and then the second curly braces element. The first element is what? Is gonna be my subject, right? So I have to print the subject here. So it's like gonna be the first gonna be my I of this is gonna be my of subject. This is what I want here, right? This will go here, and now on top of this, second by comma, I have to specify the second element, which is gonna be this, right? So int of this entire thing, and then it's gonna be +5. Cool, makes sense? Now if I write it, you notice? Is this point clear, guys? Is this question clear? Just a yes or a no. You are able to understand this problem. Any question here? I try to break this problem. So for what we first did, we accessed the individual list elements, which is again a dictionary for me. And to access a particular key value pair, I just use the indexing. This is a very basic question, guys. Very basic question. I'm just trying to formulate the answers here. Just trying to formulate the answers. Okay. Cool. Making sense? Any questions, guys? Just yes or no. Please tell me if you are able to understand this problem. So as you know, right? So we can obviously access the element, and once we have accessed the element, we can do whatever we want. We can call it, we can add it, we can do any manipulation, whatever we want, right? So this is how simple it is. Cool, clear? Great. So let's move to the next question. This is slightly trickier. We might be needing few more things in this, so we'll see how to proceed. Okay. So now look at this question. Okay. So this is my dictionary. Okay. So look at this dictionary quite carefully. So I have a dictionary name as person. Okay. So in the person, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 key value pairs. Okay. So 6 parent key value pairs. Now look at again things very carefully. So here the first name is Peter, the last name is Parker, spouse is Maggie. So children, they have son and the daughter. Okay, so this son and daughter again written in a parent dictionary. Okay, so this key value pair, the value of the children is itself a dictionary. Okay, so now in this dictionary I have son, so I have two key value sub pairs. So I have son and I have daughter, right? So now in the son you can see that son is again having a value as dictionary. So this is a nested dictionary here. So son, we have name. So what is the information of son? Name and married. So name is Harry, married is yes. So son is, or there he, he has only one son named Harry and he is married, right? Now from daughter, he has two daughters. So now it's daughter. In this value we have a list of dictionaries. So we have two such daughters. So first daughter name is Emmy and she is not married. And the second daughter's name is Rose and she is married. Okay. Now from the cars, he has these many cars. He has 3 cars. And pets, he has a dog and he has a cat. Okay. And then the names also mentioned. The dog name is Fido, cat is Spike. So we have all these information available. So this is the dictionary of my person. Okay. So now I have to print the statement finding out how many children the person here, so person Mr. Peter Parker has, and out of them how many are married. So I have to count these numbers. So I have to print a statement which says Mr. Parker has X children. So this X has to be calculated from this person dictionary, and out of them only 2 are married. So I have to also find out, see this condition married, no and yes, and then I have to find out of these many children how many are married. You got it? Clear? Is the question clear? So basically so printing is fine, so we can print the statement anyway, but here what all information we need? We first need to count the number of children Mr. Peter has, and the second I want count the number of children who are married. This is what I need, right? This is what the 2 things I need, correct? So this is the question says, guys, any suggestions here? How to access this quickly? Just give me a few pointers, guys, how to access this element and how you're gonna count this. And so again, definitely, so if I have to access the multiple elements, we have to obviously specify the loop, right? So we will be doing things in loop. That is pretty much okay for me. I'm getting that. But give me some hints. So how are we gonna access the elements here? So how you think that you will be writing up the elements here? Quickly, guys. Loop. Okay, so yes, very well said. Ashish says loop. Yes, obviously we need to use loop. That is fine. For loop, in for loop, red is definitely. So we need to use the for loop. That's pretty much good, right? So see again here, the core objective is we are still focused in this section only, right? So out of the entire dictionary element, whatever we have, right, we're still focused in this small area only. So out of this, from this children, we have to calculate first how many such children are there. So from the son and from daughter, we have to count the number of children, and then post that I have to also figure out the married. So ultimately, all of these information is present under this child key only, right? You got it? Yes, very well said, Ashish. Yes, so we're gonna use the conditions also on top of that. Cool. So ultimately, so everything is falling under this this key value pair only, right? So from this key value pair itself, we have to find out, we have to count, and then we have to see the married and unmarried and all that, right? So let's try to see that. Okay, quickly. So now, quickly, guys. So if I have to access the element of my children, so if I have to access the element of my children, how can I do that? How can I do that, guys? So I mean, just basic simple thing, right? So person, and a person. This is my dictionary. So I have to run this also first. This is run. So this is my person, and now person. If I have to write, say children, right? So this is my children, right? This is what I have it, right? This is what I have. This is what a dictionary says, right? So this is what I have. So this is again, if I just see this children, I'll be having the son and the daughter there, right? So now again, so just look at this, guys. So this is again a dictionary, right? So this is again a dictionary. So ultimately, from this son and daughter, what we need the name, and so we can count the, if we count the number of times names are being called. That's again the way we can count, right? We can count the names, and also we can find out how many of them are right. So like a condition, if married is yes, we're gonna count it like plus one and all that, right? We can do that. So how to access this particular thing? So how to get the values of it? So we know the function, right? We have already learned that. So if I write dot values, what I'll get? I'll only get the values. You remember, you know that, right? So we have already done that. So if I simply do like this is my entirely, this is a dictionary, right? So if I write dot keys, for example, so if I write dot keys, I'll get what? I'll get son and daughter, which is incorrect. Which is I cannot count son and daughter, right? So this is incorrect. But if I write dot values, so now this value, this is interesting. So now I have the list of elements where the first key dictionary is the name of my Harry, and then I have another list which is having two sub dictionaries where I have the name of the daughters. So here, this is my information of my son, and then I have information of my daughters. Cool, this is what I have. I cannot copy paste everything mentioned in a question, to be honest, Anirudh. So I mean, why you want to copy paste things? So you can always come back to this, and then always remember, see the video, right? But again, because anyway, I'm monitoring things from my what to say uh, here from phone. But let me just try. Let me try to open things on YouTube on my laptop. Just a minute. I can maybe try that. Just give me a minute. I'm trying to copy the things. So I'll copy the question. Okay, so this should be fine. Okay, and this is what we need actually. So I'm gonna print it, copy that here. It's not letting me print because it is the word count is getting increased. Okay. So anyway, you can come back to this video again, guys. So I mean, hardly a thing, right? So okay, let me try doing that again. So I don't know why it is doing it. So I'll do that one by one. So I'll just send this first, and then I'll maybe send this children part. Okay, so I'm sending it, guys. Okay. Okay, this is again. Okay, so this is what. Okay, cool. And now this is the output we need, so you can just copy paste it and then try to solve it with you. Okay, cool, great. So now coming back again. So if I do children dot values, right? So this is where I'll be getting the information, right? So this is where I'll be getting all these things. Now, this is again, look at this. This is a list, right? So now on this list, you can obviously run a loop, right? So this on this, this list can always run a loop. So how you can run a loop? So now, for example, for I in this values, just first check what is I. So print I. Wonderful, voila. So we have the first element, which is a dictionary, which is the information of my son. And for daughter, it's a list because we have two daughters here, right? So we have to also understand it's a more of my list element, right? Now, okay. So now on this loop, we have to find from each of these output elements, we have to count two things, right? So we have to keep the count of two things, my number of children, and then out of those, how many are married, right? So how many are married? So now on top of this, how we can perform this, how we can add this. Okay, so always remember one thing. So whenever we are doing, so in any loop, if we have to count anything, right? So if anything count or sum, it's always advisable that you initiate the counter before starting of the loop, right? So for example, if to count the number of children, so we can just simply write child, for example, and initiate it as 0. Okay, and then for married, we can also define another variable, married is equal to 0, right? Now in this loop, wherever the condition falls to, right, we can always just write like child, child plus equal to 1. So whenever the condition is true, we can keep on adding plus 1 on top of that. So that's like more of a counter initialization for me on the code. That's what we code. Okay. So now here, how to count the number of code. Right, so whenever it goes inside any of the loop, right, whenever it goes inside any of the loop, we have to just keep on counting it. So that's my one child information, right? This is my one child, this is my another child, this is my another child. So as long as it is going inside my loop, I'm able to get that. But again, also remember guys, look at this. So for list, we have to again write another loop on top of this, but for dictionary, it's fine, right? So we can write a condition here. If my type of my I is not equal to list, right? So if this is not equal to list, if this is dictionary, then it will go here, else it will go here, right? So if condition is right, so this will be valid till this particular part. So now if I'm doing this, now it will be going under my first condition. Now here what I'll be showing, what I'll be saying here is child will be child plus equal to 1. I can do that, right? This is pretty much okay, simple hai. मैंने child को +1 कर दिया. Now I'm inside this, right? Now inside this, I have to find out the married condition. So what I need to do? If again an if condition, if I of my married, if oh my god. So if I of my married is what equal to yes, then in this case, I'll be doing what? I'll be adding +1 to married, right? Then I'll be saying married plus equal to 1. Cool, simple. Hai? Great. I'm just trying to keep on appending things. So it's very simple as that. Now, because see again, the only reason I added this if type of I is not equal to this, because here, if I go in here in this, right? So I have to again do an indexing of my elements, right? So indexing of my elements. So now this is valid for my first condition. Now go for the second condition. Else means this is list. So now for this list, I have to again write a further for loop because I have to access each of the sub dictionaries, right? So for this, I'll be doing else for, I would say for say daughter in I, or write this I as say child. Okay, so for child in person this, then I have to write this I as child, then child, no, not child, let's write it children, because children we've already initiated. So children, not equal this. So if I of children of I is this, now this fine. So now for daughter in children, right? Now in this case, I'll be saying for each of such loops. So now here means this is my first daughter, this is my second daughter, right? What I'll be doing for each of them, child, keep on adding plus equal to 1, right? Again, the same thing. If for my married condition, if daughter of married is equal to yes, then I'll be doing married plus equal to 1. Cool, simple लॉजिक है, ये कर दिया हमने. अब अगर हम इसके बाद चाइल्ड और मैरिड को प्रिंट कराएंगे, सो फॉर एग्जांपल आई जस्ट राइट इट हियर, सो प्रिंट चाइल्ड एंड देन इफ आई डू प्रिंट मैरिड, राइट? सो नाउ हियर आई हैव 3 and 2. Cool, the logic is fine. Logic, you are able to understand the logic, guys? Quickly, you are able to understand the logic here? Any question, guys? See, again, somebody was asking me this question, right? So how to master the loops, right? So the only way to master the loop is solve as many questions as you can, right? So this is the reason why, and this is again a very simple question, guys. It's not a tough question. It's like hardly 5 minutes problem, right? And these types of problems are only asked in the interviews when you go for the Python on-spot coding rounds, right? See, again, on the on-spot coding, they cannot ask you to write 100 lines of code, right, in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. They cannot ask you to write that, right? So they only ask you some logical questions, and which can be solved in 5-10 minutes. So you have to think about the problem and then try to code it. So this is one of those simpler problems which can, I mean, I'm not saying that the exact question will be asked, but yeah, this is one of the odd samples which you can think of solving the problems, right? So the only way to master looping and only way to master your coding understanding is by practicing, by solving as many questions as you can. Okay, cool. So now with this, we have written the counters and we have calculated child and we have calculated married. So now we have these elements here. Now we have this child and married, right? So we can always print the element. So what do we need it? What do we need to print? So we need to print this, right? Let's copy this entire statement, right? So print. So I will write it here only. So print. So we'll comment out this. So we want to print this entire statement, and we will put it under quotes and we'll print this, right? Now this 3 has to be dynamically taken, so we can write this curly braces, and this 2 has to be dynamically taken, so we write this as curly braces. And now from where we know the format, we know the way to write this, right? So we can write dot format here, dot format, and the brackets. So we have 2 dynamic values. The first would be what? Child. So we can write child here, comma, then we can write married. So this will be dynamically taken to print values. Clear? This is what we wanted, right? Clear, guys? Any questions? Any questions here in this question, guys? Any question in this problem? Just a quick yes or no if you are able to understand this problem, guys. Again, don't think that I'm here to solve the problems. I'm here to clear your doubts, okay? Don't be shy. Don't be ashamed that if you're not able to understand it. So nobody will fool you out here, okay? At some point of time, you have to start your career. Even I started my career when I didn't know anything. Even I was fooled when I was asking questions. It's fine. It's fine to be fooled and ask questions, okay? If you're not able to understand, please do not hesitate in asking the questions. Please ask the questions, okay? And if you are able to understand this, I need at least 5-6 yeses here. Okay. We have a question here. So why we use not equal to logic in for loop? Not equal to logic. Okay, this one you are saying? Okay. So remember, guys. So now here, look at the types here, right? So I'll just show it to you why I use this. Print. If I do print of children, right? Now look at this. Now just look at the type here, okay? The first element is a dictionary, okay? And the second element is a list, right? And so now here for this, you can access the element by just writing the name or by just writing the married, you can find. But here you cannot. You have to further go deep in this and write another loop to find this as first element and this as second element, right? So that is the reason why I've written this. If the type of my children is not equal to list, that means that it is dictionary. Then in that case, I can happily access married and whatever, whatnot, right? But if it is list, then in that sense, I have to add another loop here. This is this. So I have to access the elements of my list. I'm writing another loop. So for daughter in my, this is my entire children element, right? So for this, I've written another for loop. And in this for loop, I'm writing the if condition. So now this is valid here. Okay, makes sense, Ali? Anirudh, I hope you got the error. Yeah, so you said got it. Clear. Great. Right, guys. Any problem? Any questions? Anyone? So I'm still missing out few yeses here. So we have at least good amount of people online. So guys, just say yes if you are able to understand the problem. So we have 2 yeses so far. We have Anirudh also. We have 3 yeses. Anybody is having any problem here, guys? Anything if you're not able to understand, please tell me. See, again, solving as many questions is not an objective here. Even if you're able to understand one question, I'm more than happy to leave you there. Okay. So, but try to understand this problem, because understanding the logic is very important. If you're not able to get the logic right, you will never be able to code. So coding is all about your thought process. If you're able to understand, if you're able to think about the problem, right, you can always code. So what I always do is, what I always recommend is, write the problem. Okay, so now next time, whenever you are solving it for the first time, right, try to write the logic in an English sentence. कि चलो first मेरे को यहाँ से ये निकालना है, then I have to go inside this loop, then I have to do this, then I have to do that. So write some 4-5 steps in English sentence. Okay, now convert this English sentence into your code. You will be able to do that. Clear? Great, guys. So I think we are pretty much sorted, and let's proceed to the next question. So let's take one more question and then we can wrap up. So let's see, what is that question? Okay, this is a simple one only. Okay, cool. So I have certain keys and the value. So this is nothing but my lists. Okay, so now look at this. So I have my okay. So I want to make this A and then make this as B. Okay. So I have two lists. Okay. So I have two lists. Where I have A as my name, age, and ID. Nothing but my keys. Okay. So technically these are my keys. Okay. And then the values of those keys are present under my different variable B, which is called, so name is Arpit, age is 30, ID is 101. Okay. Something like that. So they are nothing but different lists. Okay. It's not like list of dictionaries. It's two plain simple two lists. Okay. A is one list and B is another list. So now the question to you is, how can you convert this to a dictionary? So now the objective is to write in the key value pair. So the output should be a dictionary where the element A should be taken as my keys. So that should be name. And then for this corresponding element, it should be the from B. So I have to take this value as B from my second list, which is B. Likewise, for all the elements, it will be for age, and then it will be for ID as well. Cool. This is what I have to do. Is the question clear? That's going to be 30. And then for ID, it's going to be 101. So this is what I want as an output. So I have to convert these two individual lists into a dictionary key value pair. How can you do that? Quickly, guys, quick suggestions here. We have already taken this before, but still, I mean, still it's not that straightforward. Okay, some slight tweaking which I've done here. So there are two independent lists. Okay, now how you can get it into a key value pair? So for key value in A comma B, okay, so we have a suggestion from Nikhil. He says for key value, okay, I think he deleted that, so I'm not sure what he just said. Cool. Any suggestions, guys? Anything which you think which we can do here quickly? What can we do here? So Ashi says we use two loops for two for loops. I think not required. Not required. Two for loops are not required. For I in A. Okay, so for I in A. Okay, so let's do that. So he says for I in A, and if I print I, for example, right? So if I print I, okay, I have not print this. So now I have name, age, and ID. That's fine. Now what? So for key value in A comma B, that's what he's saying. So let's see. Let's try that. So he's saying for key value in A comma B. Let's print that first. Okay. So print key, for example. So too many things, right? That's the error. Now look at this, guys. So I cannot write A comma B like this. I cannot do that. Okay. So we have a suggestion for key in A, for value in B, rest key is equal to value. This is one way we can do that. Obviously, we can do that. This is very well said. So we can do that actually. It's not incorrect, Ashish, but it's not an ideal. We can write it in a very simple sentence also. So again, simply, so let me try to solve this. Okay. So ultimately, सबको ये तो समझ में आ रहा है कि we have to run it on top of my. So we have to run the loop and get this value, right? So ये तो I mean basically सबको समझ में आ रहा है, right? But क्या है देखो. So definitely for suppose here what I want for the first element, this is going to be my key and the value coming from B. But the index still remains the same, right? So we can use the same I. So for example, if I write, so for I in, say, if I take this I as my index, for example, if I somehow take this I as an index, right? So imagine that I am writing some index here, okay? And then if I use A of I, and also if I use B of I, right? So this will give me this name and Arpit, right? If I use this I as an index, if I don't use I as a value, right? How can I get an index here? So how can I get that index, guys? So for this, getting the index to use as a number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, I have to define some value here, right? So instead of writing this as my simply writing index I as an A, what I can write this as number. So what can I do? For I in my range of my length of A, for example. So now here, for example, what does it mean? So here length of A kya dega aapko? This will be 3, right? And I want my index. So I want the sequence of my object. So 0, 1, 2, 3 like that. So if I write range on top of this, I'll get 0 to 3. And if I, for example, if I print this, so for I in this, and if I print I, right, I'll get 0, 1 and 2, the indexes. You got it? So instead of running this for I in A, I can run it this and use the index of my A. You got it? A simple hack here. So I'm not using A as a value, I'm using A as an index here, right? So instead of doing this direct A, I can use range of length of A, right? So now if I do A of I, I'll get what? So if I'll just keep on printing this, guys, for you. So print, and then if I print here, so for the same I, I'm able to get name Arpit, age 30 and ID 101. I'm able to get this, right? Simple logic. So just think about the problem, right? I'll get, just if I use I as an index, I can get from the same index value, I can get the values of A and B, right? Now it's pretty simple now. So from this, I know my A and B. Now I could just make it as a dictionary. That's pretty much fine. So I'll just write it like this. I'll make a dictionary here. And then, what I can write, so for this, so in fact, I'll write it in the vice versa way. So this is pretty much simple. So now I'll do one thing. So now I'll write a dictionary here. What I'll do, so I'll write my A of I, right? And this will be colon of B of I, right? Where, so I think for I in my range of length of what? Length of A कर लो, कोई टेंशन नहीं. Cool, done. Simple. समझ में आया? Is this clear, guys? You have the things in front of you, just like you have to formulate and kind of fine tune the things and then write the output. Okay, so you can use the for loop on this. The question when the reason why I gave you this question is, for loop can be used in two ways. Okay, either you can run the loop on the exact values, or you can run the loop on the indexes. There are two ways which you run the loop. Either you run the loop on the indexes, or you run the loop on the exact values. Here I run the loop on the indexes. You got it? Yes, Anirudh, I think you also mentioned this question, so we did that pretty much. Great, guys. So I think with this, we are pretty much done, and I hope you guys liked it. I hope if you guys liked it, just say yes, you really liked it. Just a thumbs up in the chat. So exactly same as list comprehension, Nikhil, absolutely. So I hope you able to like, you're liking the content, right? You're understanding what we're trying to do here. So again, the objective is to make you understand the things, right? I don't want to be some random guy coming over on the YouTube live channel and giving you some random theory lessons and going away. No, right? I mean, even if I'm teaching one small topic, you should be able to understand that, right? Otherwise, there's no objective of me spending so much of effort and coming here and talking to you, right? So guys, just let me know if you're able to understand the concepts. So that is something which I need, right? So that's what we need here. DSA tutorial, yeah, Ashish. I'm really sorry, I did not find that, but I'll get back to you on this. I have to check internally. I'll get back to you. Great, great, guys. Thank you so much. So I think with this, we are pretty much done for today. So we're gonna meet tomorrow with some really good content. So we are starting with, I think, functions tomorrow. So we are starting with functions tomorrow. So we have a session on functions. So the same questions, right? So we can write it, we can wrap it under a function. So I'll be talking about that tomorrow. Okay. So stay tuned, guys. So we'll be talking about functions tomorrow, and then we'll be going really deep in that. Okay, so many times I also understood that people really get confused with functions, how to write a function and when to use a function and all that, right? So we'll come back to you on that. So tomorrow's session will be based on functions. Okay, so we'll be talking about that, and then we'll see how we go. Cool, guys. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for interacting. That's what make the session special, right? So it's always important to interact. If you don't interact, again, it'll be again another boring session, right? It does not really make sense. So thank you so much for interacting, guys, and that's what makes it special. So kudos to all of you too, and thank you for practicing along with the question. So that always motivates me as well. So see you tomorrow, guys. Same time, 10 p.m. with functions. Okay, my bad, guys. So tomorrow will not be available. I'm really sorry. So just an update. So tomorrow there won't be any session. So tomorrow I'm actually unavailable. So tomorrow we will not be having any classes. So we'll be meeting on day after tomorrow on Saturday. Okay. So tomorrow I'm not available. So tomorrow there will not be any classes. We'll be meeting on day after tomorrow on Saturday. Okay. So don't wait for me for tomorrow. We'll see you on Saturday, same time, 10 p.m. with functions. Cool. Great. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Ashish, and thank you so much, everyone. Let's see you on Saturday, 10 p.m. and then we'll discuss on functions. Great, guys. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Good night.